Workday. My ransom to the outside. And they're off. Workday is the fastest out of there, clearing the field in a few jumps, and Workday gets over to the inside. Thirsty Pappy is up close in the early stages. My Ransom is there, and Hondo Crouch in between those two. Buck Owens and Star Prospect are next, entering the first turn. Two more to Here Comes Georgie Boy, who's four wide. Do It for Dave is steadying just a touch down on the inside. And then it's Mickey Goldmill at the back of the field. About 10 lengths covers them. Onto the backstretch they go, and Workday has the lead, just under a length to Hondo Crouch. My Ransom in the yellow colors in third, and Thirsty Pappy settled at the rail fourth, 3 lengths off the leader. Then it's Star Prospect, racing in mid-pack toward the half-mile pole. Down at the rail, Buck Owens, and Here Comes Georgie Boy right together. Mickey Goldmill out of last, and Do It for Dave at the back. Workday is the leader. Worked upon to hold a short lead over Hondo Crouch in second. Two more Thirsty Pappy along the rail in third. Steadying right out of it was Buck Owens. Buck Owens is now at the back of the field. In the meantime, Here Comes Georgie Boy, makes a 4-wide bid outside of Hondo Crouch with a quarter of a mile to go. Workday with plenty of company. Here Comes Georgie Boy on the outside. Star Prospect, one from the outside. Hondo Crouch is one from the rail, an eighth of a mile to go. Hondo Crouch now clear sailing for Thirsty Pappy, who tries to get involved in the final stages. Workday, a host of pursuers. Here comes Georgie Boy, and on the outside, Thirsty Pappy is flying. Thirsty Pappy mows them all down. Perfectly timed by Ramon Vasquez. Photo between Workday and Here Comes Georgie Boy, then Star Prospect and Hondo Crouch. They're in the gate. And they're off. Moonlight in Heaven, Parco, hard ridden for speed. These two will duel into the first turn. Worthiness in the next flight with What a Way to Go. Super Sense is second to last. As they round the first turn, Margot's Girl is the trailer between rivals. Parco, intent on getting to the front, clears off to lead it by 2 lengths. Moonlight in Heaven is the gray in second, and they're followed by Worthiness with the red cap third. On the outside, Margot's Girl is headstrong. There goes Margot's Girl all the way up to be a joint second. At the back, Super Sense and What a Way to Go. 5 furlongs out, Parco to catch. Leads by almost a length. Moonlight in Heaven now strides a little bit closer in second. It's another 2, back to Worthiness. Margot's Girl is outside of her. They're followed by Super Sense and What a Way to Go. Parco will head to the 3/8 pole in charge. Has it by a length and a half to Moonlight in Heaven. Then Worthiness and Margot's Girl right together, 2 clear of Super Sense and What a Way to Go at the back. Approaching the quarter pole, Parco still there by a little more than a length to Moonlight in Heaven. Fully extended, trying to close the gap. These two have pretty much dominated the race. Worthiness is next as they turn for home. Super Sense on the outside. There's an 1/8 to run. Parco 3-length lead. Moonlight in Heaven second, followed by Worthiness and Super Sense with a 16th to run. It's Parco who keeps on going, tail swishing under Abdul Al-Sagur. Parco, coast to coast. Second goes to Worthiness, just in front of Moonlight in Heaven. Super Sense a distant fourth. They're in the gate. Forgiving Spirit a little restless. And they're off to a clean start. So I'm Told is vying for the early lead. Forgiving Spirit, the gray Lil Nas on the outside, quicker than both, and Lil Nas will set the tempo going into the first turn. Forgiving Spirit under a tight hold down at the rail is a bit keen in second, and So I'm Told in between horses, Short Man on the outside. Talk Less, Work More is fifth, about 4 lengths off the lead. Bodacious second to last, and Mischievous Path at the back of the field. It's Lil Nas taking them onto the backstretch, leading it by a length. Forgiving Spirit still a bit headstrong, going to engage in second. A length and a half to Short Man in third. So I'm Told settled at the rail. Talk Less, Work More is 5 lengths off the lead. A length and a half back to Bodacious, who's eager to get a little bit closer. And Mischievous Path at the back with less than a half mile to go. It's Lil Nas carving out the fractions. Forgiving Spirit still second. So I'm Told takes third. Short Man, Talk Less, Work More is next. Bodacious and Mischievous Path about 7 lengths off front-running Lil Nas, who's controlled the race thus far. Forgiving Spirit, Short Man inches up a 3-wide third. Now Mischievous Path is getting underway. He'll be caught 4 wide, but trying to rally from last. So I'm Told is down at the rail, currently in fourth. They turn for home. Lil Nas has something left. Spurts clear by 2. So I'm Told has a clear shot, angling out and trying to run him down in the final 1/8 of a mile. Here comes So I'm Told on the outside of Lil Nas, who just keeps on going. Lil Nas, So I'm Told, Talk Less, Work More. Lil Nas takes them all the way. Scores by almost 2. So I'm Told was second. Talk Less, Work More, Mischievous Path, and then Short Man completes the super high 5. They're in the gate. And they're off. Awkward start for the favorite Clooney, who's last. Deep River, Take Charge Curly along the inside, Post Facto in between. Chicken Finger Friday is up close, and Reef City 5 virtually across the track. Moontime second to last, and awkward starting Clooney is 7 lengths off the battle up top. It's Take Charge Curly in front by just ahead. Post Facto presses second, Reef City a half off the pace, down at the rail in third. They're followed by Deep River, a joint fourth, racing on the outside of Chicken Finger Friday. 3 more to Clooney and Moontime. It's a compact group, about 4 lengths covers them, heading to the half-mile pole. And it's Take Charge Curly on the inside. Post Facto now takes the lead and asserts himself, puts a quick half length on Take Charge Curly in second. Deep River, Yellow Cap in third. Reef City, Chicken Finger Friday in heavy traffic. Clooney is now sixth, 4 lengths off the lead. He's been worked upon throughout, and another 3 back to Moontime. Post Facto sails toward the quarter pole and opens up. And it is Post Facto with a 3-length lead. Clooney now getting his act together, starting to pick up some momentum into second, and he's coming after Post Facto as the field turns for home. Chicken Finger Friday's in third. They're a furlong from the finish. Post Facto 2-length lead. Clooney on the outside and Chicken Finger Friday coming toward the 16th pole. Post Facto a length. Clooney so tough to handle. He has one final try, and here he comes. Post Facto, Clooney steadying, can't quite get to. Post Facto, who took them all the way. Clooney a nightmare from start to finish. Chicken Finger Friday was third. Then it was a photo between Take Charge Curly and Reef City. They're in the gate. And they're off. Flint Stroll and George Herman Ruth in the center out alertly. On the far outside, here's Never Seen Before part of the pace and a rest down at the rail. So it's a rest just in front. Oculus joins the party. Never seen before. Makes it 3 across the course. Algeria settles in a good spot, fourth, 4 lengths off the leader. Then it's George Herman Ruth racing on the inside of Flint Stroll. A gap of 6 to Oncoming. Inside Barola Jean and another 3 to Hoodlum. Around the clubhouse turn, and it's Kent DeSormo and a rest, carving out the fractions a length and a half. Oculus second now, 3 in front of Never Seen Before third. Then Algeria, Flint Stroll on the outside. George Herman Ruth is the gray, 3/4 to Oncoming, who's about 4 in front of Barola Jean and Hoodlum. They take a little bit closer order as they come to the half-mile pole. Arrest's lead is just under a length to Oculus. It's still another 4 lengths back to the next flight, headed by Never Seen Before down at the rail. Algeria between them, and Flint Stroll outside of that pair. Oncoming, red cap, 5 lengths off the leader, and inside of him, George Herman Ruth. It's then another couple of lengths. Hoodlum is out of last. Barola Jean inside of him. Arrest takes them with a 1/4 mile to go, a 1-length advantage. Shuffling right out is Oculus. He'll be last momentarily. In the meantime, Flint Stroll comes to challenge Arrest. Arrest, Flint Stroll. Oncoming is closing stoutly in the center of the course, and here he comes. Oncoming on the outside. Flint Stroll in between, and Arrest down at the rail. Flint Stroll, Oncoming on the outside. Oncoming. Ooh, he looked like he won it by a nose, but it's close. Oncoming and Flint Stroll in a tight photograph. Then it was Arrest, George Herman Ruth, and Never Seen Before. Photo finish. Fast and Shiny is in. Here's Hunting Coco. And heavily favored Ice Dancing to the outside. And they're off in the Santa Ynez. Parody gets the first call with plenty of early gas. Fast and Shiny, Ice Dancing, Hunting Coco, 1 from the outside, and Satin Doll is at the back of the field. 4 lengths off front running Parody, who gets to the main track in front 3 parts of a length. Fast and Shiny moves through on the inside to engage, and Hunting Coco a length and a half off them in third. Ice Dancing is comfortable at the back of the field, 4 lengths off the dueling leaders, and Satin Doll joins her on the inside. Fast and Shiny leads them past the half-mile pole, puts a length on Parody in second. It's another 2.5 to Hunting Coco. Satin Doll at the rail, Ice Dancing outside of that pair, 3 furlongs out. Fast and Shiny opens up, leads it by 2.5 lengths now. Satin Doll comes through on the inside. Parody losing ground steadily. Ice Dancing now kicks it into high gear. And Ice Dancing coming after Fast and Shiny with a 1/4 mile to go. Fast and Shiny turns for home with a length lead. Ice Dancing bearing down from second, and Satin Doll at the rail. There's an 1/8 mile to go, and Ice Dancing is roused to the lead, takes command, and starts to pull away. Ice Dancing and Flavien Prat winning convincingly in the Santa Ynez by 3 lengths. Photo for second ends up going to Satin Doll just in front of Fast and Shiny, then Parody. Huge prizes and jackpots. Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel is the place for amazing concerts at their Yamava Theater. In January and February, they're in the gate. And they're off. Fun Money quick out of there. The Wild Grazer has some natural early speed. Jordan is coming through toward the inside. Down at the rail, Excelia is pretty close too, as is Miss Bellimbusto as they run down the hill. And it is Jordan just in front. Fun Money a length back second, followed by a tugging Miss Bellimbusto third, now fourth as Excelia takes that position. The Wild Grazer settles in between horses fifth, about 4 lengths off the lead. Princess Bettina is next on the inside with less than a half mile to go. Always at Ease is racing in between rivals, and Happy Gal is at the back of the field. They're coming toward the quarter pole. Miss Bellimbusto tackles Fun Money. Those two are leading. The Wild Grazer looming just behind them in third. Happy Gal is widest of all. Down on the inside, it's Excelia. They turn for home, and Fun Money is the leader. Excelia coming gamely along the inside. The Wild Grazer joins the party in the center of the course. A furlong out, the Wild Grazer on the outside trying to get by Excelia, and Fun Money in between. The Wild Grazer doing the best work, and the Wild Grazer runs away late to score by almost 2. Fun Money second. Excelia third. Princess Bettina was fourth. Battle for fifth included Happy Gal. They're in the gate. And they're off in the Sham Stakes. Very clean start. Reincarnate, joined immediately by Spun Intended. Paxawallop came out with good speed, and National Treasure is down at the rail. Coming through now to take third. Newgate is at the back of the field. Reincarnate sets the pace, prompted by Spun Intended, who's within a next second. 2 more, National Treasure inside Paxawallop. Paxawallop moves into third, and another 3 back to Newgate as they swing on to the backstretch. Reincarnate and Spun Intended. Spun Intended puts those red blinkers in front past the 5/8 pole. A length and a half, Paxawallop with National Treasure tucked in neatly and eager at the rail. Another 2 back to Newgate with a half mile to run in the Sham. And it's Reincarnate and Spun Intended. They've been together since the gate opened. Paxawallop is 3 deep. National Treasure just inside of him. And 2 more to Newgate. There's been no change. Reincarnate, a neck in front now of Spun Intended. Now it's a half length coming to the quarter pole. Newgate makes an early move with the yellow cap, and he joins the party. And National Treasure is in the thick of it as Paxawallop drops back. They're at the top of this. And now National Treasure angles to the outside as they come to the 16th pole. Newgate on the outside, and a resilient Reincarnate trying to fend him off. Reincarnate, Newgate, National Treasure, Reincarnate, and Juan Hernandez to take the Sham. Newgate was second. National Treasure finished third, and it was a lot. They're in the gate. And they're off. Mecklenburg did not have a very smooth beginning. Dean Martini did, and sprints clear at once. Hudson Ridge comes away in second. Then it's Opry third in the early going, already 4 lengths off the speed. Mecklenburg is tugging his way right into contention. He's a bit rank and going right up to battle for the third spot. Then it's Script, settled in a good spot, 7 lengths off the leader. Avenue is next, Count of Amazonia, and Lincoln Hawk at the back of the field. It's Dean Martini in front. Mecklenburg is tugging fiercely at Ricky Gonzalez on the outside, and Hudson Ridge is in between them. They're followed by Opry fourth, 4 off the lead, a gap of at least a half dozen lengths to the next flight, headed by Script. Inside Count of Amazonia, Avenue is next, and Lincoln Hawk will do his best running later. Down the back stretch, and it's Dean Martini in front 3/4 of a length. Hudson Ridge second, Mecklenburg just outside of him. Still 3 lengths back to Opry in fourth with less than a half mile to go. 6 lengths back, Script is next. Avenue inches up inside Count of Amazonia, and 3 back to Lincoln Hawk. It's Dean Martini by 3/4 of a length. Mecklenburg, Hudson Ridge in between them. Another 2. Opry is going to angle to the outside, but the rest of them are starting to swarm in now. And here's Script coming after them. Outside of him, Count of Amazonia. Lincoln Hawk will be about 7 wide, but he's joining the fray as they straighten up. It's still Dean Martini trying to trigger that big jackpot 2-length lead. Opry is coming after him gamely. Opry cutting into the margin of Dean Martini, who's still there. Dean Martini or Opry. Dean Martini, Opry. Opry nailed him right on the money. Dean Martini second. Avenue finished with some interest in third in front of Script and Count of Amazonia.
It's Friday the 13th, and guess what? Our seminar guest today is superstitious, but the good news is I don't have any ladders that he can walk under. There's no black cats crossing his path. And more importantly, you'll remember on Sunday, our seminar guest was visiting us from Boston. Well, our seminar guest today has him beat by 400 miles. The distance from Arcadia to Boston, Massachusetts is 2,900 miles. The distance from Arcadia to Anchorage, Alaska, where our seminar guest resides, is 3,300 miles. He made the trip. He's here today. He's here for the weekend, and he's a good friend. Please welcome into the seminar, Jeff Schmitz. Jeff, happy Friday. Happy visit to San Anita, and welcome to the seminar.
Well, thank you very much, Tom. It's such a pleasure to be here. Really, I truly mean that. For all of you who are at home watching this, you really got to come out to Santa Anita if you haven't been out here recently or at all, and make the trip out. It's absolutely spectacular. And I know the weather's bad across the country, but it's not too bad here. So a couple drops of rain, but that's no big deal.
We think it's bad here, but you're right. Compared to Anchorage, Alaska, I'm sure it's nothing. What is the weather like right now in Anchorage, Alaska?
Well, when I left on Wednesday, it was 20 degrees.
Above zero.
Above zero.
That's like a heat wave.
Actually, that's not too bad up there. But it can be right around 0 this time of year. So I mean, the second week of January, you can't get more middle of winter than that. Really around the country.
And I believe, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you have 2 hours of sunlight max. I know that's the exact opposite of summer. When does the sun rise and when does the sun set in January up in Anchorage?
Well, it started to turn here about a month ago. We're getting more sunlight each day, but it's about 10 to about 2:30 in the afternoon.
What do you do at 2:30? Like, do the bars open and everybody plows into there? Like, what do you do in total darkness at 3 in the afternoon?
Well, that's one option, I suppose. Just continue to work and just get used to it, I guess. So get used to it when in the summertime, it's completely opposite where it's sunlight 22 hours a day. So,
and of course, at 2:30, 3 o'clock your time, the races are still going on here at St. Anita. Are you able to play the races through your ADW up there on a semi-regular basis?
Yeah, you're able to keep an eye on things and watch your seminar, which is absolutely fantastic. I love your seminar.
Thank you.
And it's really a pleasure just to kind of see the green grass and the mountains in the background and just mentally get away from the snow and the cold and watch what's going on down here.
You make a good point, Jeff. A lot of people play the races kind of escape from reality, whatever that reality is, their family, their work, whatever the case might be. And you certainly do that. And you do that on a big time basis because you get involved in a lot of tournaments around the country as well. So you've played in the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge. You're planning to play in the Pegasus World Cup in a couple of weeks. You've qualified for the NHC. What is it about tournaments that you like so much that makes you kind of participate either from afar or on track?
Well, it's such a challenge. If you can win them or you can do well, they pay well. And not only that, it's the best players in the world are in these top tournaments. So it really is, if you're a competitive person, which we all are who play this game, it really is sort of the pinnacle of where you want to go and where you want to be in terms of earning respect among your peers. So that's one of the reasons that's interesting to me. And it's just a big challenge to try to pull it off. So.
And the BC, you did okay in it. It wasn't your best score ever, but it wasn't your worst score ever. Of course, you're looking forward to the National Handicapping Championship in early March in Las Vegas at Horseshoe, which was rebranded from Bally's. That's the new name of the hotel. What is it about maybe the differences between the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge and the NHC that you kind of have to incorporate into your strategy?
Sure. Well, a Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge it's cash. Yeah, so you're playing with real dollars. If you're going to make a $1,000 bet on something, you're making a $1,000 bet versus the NHC, you're making mythical plays, $2 win plays. So you're always looking for a lot of value there, trying to get that $60 horse, that $50 horse, versus that might not be as realistic in a cash game.
Speaking of value, you've been on the seminar a few times before, and I always bring it up that you're one of the documented 100 best fantasy football players in the world. And this was long before DraftKings and all these other organizations came along. You've been playing fantasy football for a long time. Now, word got out yesterday that there will be no live racing tomorrow, Saturday, here at Santa Anita due to an incoming rainstorm. So we have two football games we can kind of look ahead to. First of all, we've got the 49ers playing the Seattle Seahawks. They're 9.5-point favorites. Let's focus on that game first. Do you have an opinion either on the side or maybe on one of the players from a prop standpoint?
I do. It's funny that you mentioned that because, Seattle, which a lot of people have been down on all year, myself included, really is not giving much chance in that game. However, they did play in week 15 and it was a, 21-15, 21-13 type game up in Seattle for San Francisco. So it wasn't a blowout. The spread is 10 points in this game or 9.5 now, so it's trending downward. I wouldn't at all be surprised if Seattle plays very well, being that they got in sort of last minute on the backs of Detroit's last minute win over Green Bay.
Don't bring that up.
So yeah, it's a sensitive issue with you. But I really don't think that they have much to lose. They've played the 49ers twice already this year. They're very familiar with them. I think they're gonna just play very loose and let it rip, and we'll see what happens. But I'm skeptical about Brock Purdy, the 49ers quarterback. I don't think he's as good as he's shown. I think he's due to experience some pressure. However, he's got a tremendous cast around him. So really, I think it's going to be a very fascinating game, but I would not be surprised to see if Seattle has an upset in that game.
Seattle could be playing with house money. That's always a good thing, whether you're playing sports or also at the races. The second game on tomorrow's NFL slate, Jet, is the Chargers versus the Jacksonville Jaguars down in Jacksonville. Now, word came out today that the talented wide receiver for the Chargers, Mike Williams, will not be playing. But when I looked at the line earlier today, the Chargers were 2.5-point road dogs. What's your opinion either on that game or the total or any sort of props?
Well, this is another interesting game in that there's teams going in different directions. There was a lot of promise for the Chargers. There has been all year. And, really preseason, a lot of people predicted them to possibly be in the Super Bowl. And there's no reason why they can't do that. However, they really have not progressed over the course of the season due to a couple of injuries, and what you mentioned, Mike Williams is one of them. I don't think their quarterback is playing as well as he has in the past. And Jacksonville is sort of an up-and-coming team that's hungry right now. They're young and hungry. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Jacksonville win. But I do think that the Chargers are a talented team. So that game could go either way.
We've done enough talking about sports. Now we're going to talk about horse racing. That's because we've got an excellent 9-race Fridays card on slate. We're going to get Jeff's opinions on all 9 races. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes. They're minimal on today's card.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is fast. The turf course is rated as good. And the rail on the turf is out 20 feet. Here are the early changes. The first race is the start of the 50-cent early pick 5. Note that from last week, we do have a super high 5 carryover of $21,322. No changes in the first. In the second race, start of the early pick 4, there are no changes. The third will be run at 5.5 furlongs on the good turf. Scratch number 11, the also eligible. Rainbow pick 6 starts with race 4. Just the blinker note, there's 34,000 plus in the carryover. Turning to the fifth race, distance change to 5.5 furlongs. Started the late pick 5. Scratch number 7, Commander Kai. In the sixth race, we kick off the late pick 4 with no changes. There are no changes in the seventh race. Eighth race begins the Golden Hour pick 4, linking the last 2 from Santa Anita with the last 2 from Golden Gate Fields. There are no changes. And in the ninth, number 2, A Crown for Kitten, the jockey Diego Herrera. Scratch number 12, Trojan Way, Golden Hour double, starts with race 9. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park. Remember, there's no live racing here tomorrow. Racing will resume on Sunday. And then, of course, we have special racing on Monday. Back to Quigley's Corner we go. Tom's special guest for the handicapping seminar is horse player Jeff Schmitz.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with Jeff Schmitz. He's a VIP horse player here at the Great Race Place who's visiting us from Anchorage, Alaska. He's here for the 3-day holiday weekend, keeping in mind that tomorrow, no live racing due to incoming weather, but racing today, Sunday, and holiday Monday, which is the Martin Luther King holiday. Jeff, let's take a look through today's 9-race card, beginning in race number 1, which offers the daily 50-cent early pick 5. But also take note, we've got a super high 5 carryover. Nobody hit it on the last race on Sunday. The carryover coming into race 1 is $21,000. We're going 1 mile on the turf course for Calbred, fillies and mares, maiden special weights. We've got a field of 9. Take note of the trainer who is saddling the morning line favorite in the current betting choice, number 8, Shocking Gray. That's Jeff Mullins Jr. Jeff Mullins is currently on suspension, so his son is taking over the training duties. It's one of 3 morning line favorites that Jeff Mullins Jr. is saddling today. I'm not sure I've ever seen a trainer who has never saddled a horse before, at least from a statistical standpoint, who is going to saddle 3 morning line favorites on today's card. And jockey Juan Hernandez is riding 5 morning line favorites. He's aboard number 8, Shocking Gray. Jeff, before we get your thoughts on the race, I wanted to show the replay back in late November. November 27th was the race that 4 of these runners exit. It was the first race at Del Mar back on November 27th. Oatmeal Latte, Candy on Top, Smart Monique, and Shocking Gray all exit this race. Before we roll the actual replay, a couple of things to take note. I want you to watch the performance of number 6 in this replay, who's in this race, number 2, Oak Mill Latte. He has the gold helmet on. He'll be easy to follow. And also take note of the break for number 8, Shocking Gray, who in this replay breaks from post position number 3. He's appropriately named. He's a Shocking Gray type of animal from a coat standpoint, so he'll be easy to follow, and he's also wearing a pink jockey cap. So let's watch that replay back on November 27th, the first race at Del Mar.
They're off. Favorite Shocking Gray got away at the rear of the field, and it will be the Big Cake to go out to lead them early on. With Maya Vaughn away running in second. On their outside, Precious Baby goes up, and then it's Magic Game running in fourth on the inside. Candy on top. Oat Milk Latte next. Smart Monique to their outside. Shocking Gray has given them a 7-length head start and is clear from Linger at the rear of the field. So up front, it's Maya Vaughn and Precious Baby. These two going at each other early on, and now Precious Baby, the first-time starter, pokes a neck in front. Opening quarter mile was in 22.75 seconds. These two lead the way onto the backstretch from the Big Cake running along in third. Then it's Candy on top, Magic Game on the inside. Smart Monique is next, and now Shocking Gray begins to move, splitting Smart Monique and Oat Milk Latte up the backstretch. The trailer Linger is 10 lengths behind. 47.59 was the half mile. Maya Vaughn on the inside of Precious Baby. These are the two as they enter the far turn. From Candy on top on the outside of Magic Game and the Big Cake in between horses. Smart Monique is next on the outside. Meanwhile, Shocking Gray is still about 6 lengths behind midway on the far turn and only has Oat Milk Latte and Linger beaten at this stage. Coming to the top of the stretch, and Precious Baby turns for home with the lead here. Opening up 2.5 lengths as they come into the final furlong. Candy on top is next. Shocking Gray with work to do down the center of the course, putting in a run, but has to come and get Precious Baby. And Precious Baby is holding on to that lead. Precious Baby, strong in victory here over Shocking Gray. Then it was Candy on top.
One first-time starter from the Jim Cassidy barn goes wire to wire. You see Shocking Gray on the gallop out here finishing second, but take a look at Oak Mill Latte coming here on the rail on the gallop out. Now, I know it's well past the mile distance, but keep in mind, this was just her second career start, her first time going 2 turns, and her first time wearing blinkers. And as we continue to watch the gallop out, if we did, we would have seen that actually Oak Milk Latte got even with the winner. I thought, Jeff, a relatively impressive performance for Oak Mill Latte, who's currently 25-1 on the board. But I also thought Shocking Gray had some traffic trouble, and I know you like Shocking Gray in today's first race.
I do, just like everyone else will probably, as you can see on the board, it's 3-5. The thing with this race, as we take a look at how it should unfold, is that there is absolutely no speed in this race whatsoever. I mean, Tom, if they loaded you and I in the box, we could probably break 1-2 in this field. That's how bad the speed is in this field. But in that case, where they are tend to break out in a group, I really do like the outside post positions in that scenario where they're not a spread out field. And I really do think that Shocking Gray can benefit from that race scenario. Certainly, it's what I'm concerned about is 3 straight seconds to start its career. Last time it burned a lot of money at 1-2, did not win. These types, I think, are ones that we need to be concerned about as players and probably not go too overboard. I don't want to scare all the 3-5 bettors, but it's something that you really want to try to partner with another horse in the race to try to hook up an exacta, in my opinion, to find some value. But my top selection in this race was the number 8. I do agree with you that the Oak Milk Latte, the replay that you just showed, did show some promise in there. Again, I'm just concerned about how far back it might be, particularly from the 2-hole early on, and I don't want it to have a lot of work too late. So my second choice in this field, I did try to connect it, the 8 with the price. I went with Tis My Princess. I think the effort 2 back possibly gets a solid second place finish done here. It's 20-1 in the morning line. I think it'll go off around that. I projected, the value of this horse to be way better than 20-1. So I think it's a fair horse to put underneath the 8 to try to hit it early exactly to start off the card today.
And we didn't talk about number 5, Elegance Code, ridden by Flavian Pratt. Here's some unusual stats for Flavian so far at the short meet. Flavian has 5 wins from 55 mounts. He's winning at a 10% win clip. And if you peel another layer back, you'll see that he has 4 wins from 25 starts on the main track. and yet just 1 win from 30 starts on the turf course. So certainly a slow start for perennially our leading rider, Flavien Prat. We'll see if he can turn that around today. Race number 2 begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We're sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track. $16,000 is the claiming tag. Non-winners of 2 races lifetime. We've got a field of 7. Number 5, Bruto is the 8-5 morning line favorite. Trainer Bob Baffert has a special day in store today. Maybe not only winning a few races, but also happy birthday, Bob Baffert. It's his 70th birthday today. Shh, don't tell anybody that I told you he's 70 years old, but he is. He's going to be likely less than 8-5 come post time with Bruto taking a big drop down in class, trying to beat the favorite. Or are you going to go with the favorite here, Jeff?
Well, I don't know how you can go against Bruto in this particular spot, being that it has the early speed, it has the big drop. You've got Bob Baffert training. It has been off since May. That is a concern. This horse ran against Flightline, here in the bottom of the form back in April of last year. Finished second to Flightline. In my opinion, the best horse I've ever seen. These are considerations. It gets Juan Hernandez in the irons today. I really think that the work it had a couple of days ago or last week, 47-1 out of 81 horses competing that day. It finished second best time that morning. So it signals to me that it's absolutely ready. I don't know that there's anyone else that has the true early speed in this race to sort of keep up with it. And so that's the reason why I did select the number 5 as my top choice in here.
You also like number 2, Nolo Contesta, who's just 1 for 17 lifetime with 7 lifetime starts. What was it about Nolo Contesta that kind of caught your eye?
I like the fact that it's shortening today from its previous race, a 1 mile distance. It's third out since it took a little bit of a break. And I think it will be fresher today and ready, and probably will give the most possible competition to the 5 that I could see. It is sort of a chalky exacta. Those are the 2 favorites. But I just don't see anything really that's going to be able to compete with it. It is interesting to me that Baffert would drop the 5 horse all the way down to the $16,000 level. He has another one in a few races that's for sale as well. So it's kind of like a fire sale Friday for Baffert. Maybe on his birthday, he's trying to clear out a little bit extra room in the barn or something. I don't know, but it sure seems like a suspicious drop. 16,000 seems like a heck of a bargain.
Race number 3, we're back on the turf course. And if I didn't mention it, the turf course today is listed as good. All races remain on the turf and the rails are at 20 feet. And this distance in race number 3 has been changed. The distances for both race and 3 have been changed to now 5.5 furlongs on the turf course. 5.5 furlongs on the turf course is the distance for race number 3 and the surface. Scratch the also eligible. Number 11, Too Bossy will not compete. We've got a field of 10 morning line favorite. Once again, from the Jeff Mullins Jr. barn, lukewarm 7-2 morning line favorite is number 9, Good Buju. A lot of ways you can go here, Jeff. Which way you going?
I went with number 6, Running with the Boys, with Hector Barrios in the irons. I really like this jockey. I think he's a severely underrated jockey, and one that the Southern California community is certainly coming to appreciate now. 5-1 in the morning line. I think we're going to get that and then some. We might get 6 or 7-1 on this particular one. I really liked its opening race on debut, posted a 69 buyer, and then had trouble in its last 2, which might be an indicator as to why it's 5-1 and not a little bit lower. I certainly think this horse is as talented as anyone in the field, and with only 3 starts, it's certainly eligible for improvement in its 4th start here today. So I really think that this one could move forward, and if it does, I think it will be very competitive in this race.
You're expecting owner Rockingham Ranch to have a big say in race number 3. That's because you also like his other runner in the field, number 4, Majestic Steps. Tell us why.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, Pratt has been off to a slow start. Certainly, we're all going to pay for that at some point when he rips off an 11-win weekend here coming up soon. So that could start this weekend. I think that the numbers on this horse say it's going to be right there. It's run in some pretty fast races and just hasn't been successful yet, but yet been only a length or 2 off the lead here at the end. So Pratt's rolled this one twice, 2 third-place finishes, 2 back and 4 back. And I think this one could be very competitive as well today.
Race number 4 begins the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6. Multiple winning tickets on Sunday. That means the jackpot Single ticket carryover now up to $34,000. That amount plus whatever is wagered today will be yours if you're the only winning ticket in today's Pick 6 sequence. And it is a challenging sequence. What I like about today's card is there's a number of runners who we haven't seen since October and November. Think about all the things you've done since October and November. Not only maybe go down to Del Mar, but take a little bit of a trip and, of course, come here on opening day. Horses can change over that amount of time, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this sequence plays out. And this first leg in race number 4, we're sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track for maiden claiming $40,000 is the tag. Number 6, Katona is a first-time gelding. The morning line favorite is the previously mentioned number 3, Distorted Math, a second-time starter from the Bob Baffert barn, taking a drop down in class. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Jeff, I wanted to show a workout for number 1. El Patente coming in off a long layoff for trainer Dan Blacker, taking the blinkers off. I want to show the workout on December 16th, courtesy of our friends at xbtv.com. That is El Patente on the inside. And take a look who is on the outside. Graded stakes winner, Hit the Road. Now, granted, Hit the Road is a horse that really likes the turf course, but nevertheless, he's got a lot of ability and a lot of class. And I want you to watch El Patente here in this workout. Even though he's down on the inside, and the rider's scrubbing him out a little bit, he's never going to let Hit the Road go by. Not only past the wire, but as well as into the clubhouse turn. They get a free roll here today because they get the waiver claim, so the animal is not eligible to be claimed. And I think he's certainly live here with Joe Bravo in the saddle at 6-1 on the morning line based upon this workout. Like I said, this was back on December 16th. It's been almost a month since this workout, and he's had a number of sharp workouts since then. But Hit the Road, I'd say put in a very solid type of workout, but nevertheless, for a maiden 40, that workout kind of caught my eye, Jeff. I think I'm going to be using El Patente, but you're looking in a different direction.
Well, as we mentioned earlier regarding, a Baffert runner in here, Distorted Math, again, is a tag for $40,000 today. On debut, opened up with an 81 buyer, had a terrific workout here on January 8th of 47-4. There's really nothing that I can see that would, on paper, indicate that this horse should even be in a claiming race like this. And so I'm surprised. I wrote in my notes, what's wrong? Is there an issue? Is there a problem? So I would this would be one you really want to keep a close eye on in the post parade to see if something pops up into your attention. I know, Tom, you're excellent at spotting things in the post parade. I think we should all try to do that in this race. But to me, it seems to be a standout. The Juan Hernandez up again. And I think that this one, if it's right, should crush this field.
Fair enough. Let's turn the page. Take a look at race number 5. Begins the 50-cent late pick 5 sequence. As mentioned earlier, race 5 remains on the turf course, but now the revised distance is 5.5 furlongs on the turf course. Straight $50,000 claimers. One scratch the 7, Commander Kai. Leaves us with a field of 9. The third morning line favorite from the Jeff Mullins Jr. barn is number 6, My Summer Dream. Once again, lukewarm favorite at 7-2. Give us your thoughts on race 5.
Well, now things start to open up quite a bit in terms of some of the chalkier races that we saw earlier. And in fact, this race is very wide open. There's lots of possibilities here. My top selection in this race was Commander. I really think that this one, could go off higher than the 6-1 morning line choice that we're getting, which is why I'm interested in it. I think we might get 8-1, maybe higher than that on this one. It seems to be a little bit under the radar, yet its last 4 races, we've got 3/4 and a second, all very close to the winner at the very end. Slight drop in price here, so I think on the drop you should get some relief. And to me it looks like a horse that's ready to win today, and that's of course the one we want to be on. So especially at that price, so that's the reason why I selected number 4. My second choice in this race, which I thought was pretty impressive on paper, Canadrell, if that's how it's pronounced. It came out of a grade 2 races back. Again, 2 fourth place finishes the last 2 races, but only 3 lengths off the lead. 4-1 in the morning line. Certainly, I'm going to be working both the 2 and the 4 into my exacta boxes in this race, and they'll both be on 80 pick 5 tickets that I play as well. So I do like both of them, but this is a terrific wide open race, and one that the better should really enjoy.
And number 4, Commander, will be piloted by Luis Contreras. He's made a very positive impression with limited mounts here in Southern California after relocating for the winter from Woodbine. He has 14 mounts so far up to this point with 2 wins, good enough for a 14% win clip. Certainly he is getting on some livestock and doing the best that he possibly can with it. Race number 6 starts the 50-cent late pick 4. Also race 6 is a split of race number 8. The exact same conditions in both races, and race 6 and race 8 are going 6 furlongs in the main track for Calbred fillies and mares. non-winners of one other than. Morning line favorite down on the rail, number 1, Big Shamrock from the Doug O'Neill barn, 5-2 on the morning line, won this condition 2 races back, which is why she's in for the tag today. What say you about race 6, Jeff?
I like the outside horse here, number 6, Feeling Graceful. Certainly the early speed. Again, Hernandez on the mount. Looks like he could have a big day today, possibly a 3-4, maybe even a 5-win day. He's on a lot of live mounts today. This has been off since February, so that is a little bit of a concern. But the works have been very good in its return coming back here. And the speed alone to be able to negotiate his trip from the outside will really be, I think, a factor that will play into this race where everyone else could get tied up inside. I do believe Big Shamrock is on paper looks terrific. However, I think it's compromised by being down on the one in the one hole, and I don't know that that's the best position for this horse. That's why I went against it and went with the outside here.
Fair enough. Big Shamrock, if you take note in the racing form, has 2 career victories, but both of those occurred over at Los Alamitos. Today we're running at Santa Anita, and I mentioned how Big Shamrock is in for the tag because she won this condition 2 races back. If you turn and look at the past performances for Jeff's top selection, number 6, Feeling Graceful, you can see last time out when we saw her in February, she actually won this condition, but she won it on the turf course, and here in California, you can win the same condition as long as you're changing surfaces, which is what Jeff's top pick, number 6, Feeling Graceful, is doing today. Race number 7, it's good to see we're coming down the hillside turf course. 6.5 furlongs of the distance, allows optional claiming types, fillies and mares. Non-winners of 2 other than a good field of 8. The very speedy number 6 Phenom, who's on a 2-win win streak for trainer Phil D'Amato, is the 8-5 morning line favorite. Jeff, you talked about Juan Hernandez maybe having a big day. Is this another winner in his holster?
Yes, it's my top selection in this race. Certainly one that I think you consider singling in your pick 5s and your pick 6. However, just a word of caution in that the waters get a little deeper today for Phenom, and that the conditions are going to be a little bit harder. The competition's much tougher. So it has to exhibit the speed it's shown in its last few races. And if it does, I think it'll be just fine. However, it doesn't mean it's going to be a cakewalk today, which I think that could be on paper, in the 8-5 morning line tag on it that John White put on it certainly indicates that it could be. However, I think it's going to have a little bit tougher time today, but it's still, I think, grades out to be the best in this race.
And Jeff, looking at the graphic, we see you give a punter's chance to number 1, Aqua Seaform Shame, who last time out in late October lost to Amy C, who came back to win a stakes race, a grade 3 stakes race here for trainer Phil D'Amato on opening day. What is it about Aqua Seaform Shame that you like?
Well, just as I mentioned, I think the waters are deeper here and the race is better. The one horse ran against ABC and Connie Swingle in its last race. Those are serious professional racehorses. And if you compete in that group, you're going to be competitive in this group as well. In fact, it had the lead for half that race, finished 5th, only 3 lengths off the lead. If it gets any kind of break at all, coming out of a $102,000 race in its last race here back in October, I think it could be very competitive. Again, it's hard to know after the week of rain how the rail is going to look today. We'll find out here in a few minutes, but that's the reason why I thought that the one could be competitive. 6-1 morning line price. We could get a big price of that if it hits.
Let's turn the page, take a look at race number 8. As I mentioned just a moment ago, race 8 is a split of race number 6. Same conditions, 6 furlongs in the main track for Calbred, fillies and mares, non-winners of one other than. Also, race 8 begins the popular and relatively new $1 Golden Hour Pick 4 wager, linking our last 2 races here at Santa Anita with the last 2 races at Golden Gate. It's always a lot of fun. It's fast moving and usually pays very well. The morning line favorite in this first leg of the Golden Hour Pick 4 is number 3, Starship Defiant from the Bob Hess barn. Frankie Dettori in the saddle. It's good to see Frankie here in Southern California. You love Southern California. I have a feeling he loves Southern California in the winter as well.
Absolutely. I bet he likes Southern California better than England or wherever else he's usually in January. And as who wouldn't, right? We all love the California weather here. And it is great to see him here in racing. And you know what? He still has it. I mean, he really can.
100%.
He can really ride and rate and do all the things that the top jockeys in the world do consistently. And I'm glad that he's here and enjoying and racing here in Southern California, and I've really enjoyed watching him in the first few weeks of the meet.
I mentioned that Flavien Prat is 5 for 55 coming in for today. By comparison purposes, Frankie Dettori is 5 for 27, so they're tied in the standings, but certainly Frankie has far fewer attempts. Now, Starship Defiant, Jeff, does like this main track here at Santa Anita. 4 career wins, all happening right here over the main track. Is she your top pick, or are you going elsewhere?
I went elsewhere, although this race is interesting in that in a 6-horse field, you've got 3 5-2 morning line choices and a 2-1 morning line choice, which is, shows that even John White, who's the best in the business, is confused as to how befuddled, as we all might be after the conclusion of this race. I went down on the rail in this race to Aguilar's Mount, who I've been super impressed with so far here in this, really over the course of the last year. If you look at this jockey's numbers, he's a flat bet across the board over the last year, which is really hard to do. And it shows the talent that's there. In its last race, it was on this horse. It won by a length. I think that it could be competitive today with the field that's out there, but I think you're right. Dettori could be lone speed, second time out after a little bit of a layoff. There's others in here as well that could race well, but really I went with the 1-2. I was impressed also with Gloria Spring. Certainly this will be its 5th race today. The last 3 have been very competitive, 2 seconds and a first, and 18 to 1-2 back. It could be a price as well. So this is a wide open race. It's a small field. Anything can happen, but I'm going to go with the 1 horse and take advantage of the 7-pound weight allowance. And also this jockey, I think, is terrific.
Jeff made a very good point. Even though it's just a field of 6 in race number 8, it's a very competitively and even matched field. And Jeff's top pick, number 1, Irish Wahini. If you have the past performances in front of you and look back to August of this year at Golden Gate, that's when she added blinkers. And take a look at what happened when she added blinkers. She won 3 of her next 4 starts. The race she lost, she only lost by a half length. And trainer Steve Knapp dipped in for $10,000 last time and now jumps her into this non-winners of 1 condition. He did that, you recall, with another talented runner by the name of Doc Adams, who also went on a win streak once he got in the Steve Knapp barn. We close out the day in race number 9. We're back on the turf course, 1 mile the distance for fillies and mares, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. $32,000 is the claiming tag. Jockey change on number 2, a crown for kitten, make the jockey Diego Herrera. Scratch the 12, leaves us with a field of 11. Also race 9 begins the $5 Golden Hour Daily Double, similar concept as the Golden Hour Pick 4. Last race here at San Anita with the last race at Golden Gate. It's a great get out bet. And the morning line favorite, number 9, Dolly May from the John Sadler barn, 3-1 on the morning line. We talked about some tough races, Jeff. To me, I thought this was easily the toughest race on the card.
Absolutely. This is wide open. And if it's a chalky day and everyone's tired of cashing $3.20 bets all day, this is the race really you could do well on if you can hit it. Now, in this race, I did select the morning line favorite, Dolly May, only because, again, I believe that Pratt is ready to uncork some wins. And I think this one is well positioned in the 9 hole to be very competitive. Certainly the numbers in its last 5 or 6 races makes it probably take the lead here in the upper part of the stretch. We have 3-1 in the morning line, but this hasn't seen 3-1 gone off at 3-1 in quite some time. In fact, we're seeing a lot of 4s, 5s, 45-1, 4 races back. I think we can get more than 3-1 on this, and also a sneaky play to be able to cash a late bet on how often we get value on Pratt. Never, but I think we might get some value today, which is really the reason why I fell on that one. But you're right, this one could go a lot of different ways, and we could get some good prices here in the final race. My second pick, I think we'll have number 11, Consternation. We'll have to work out a trip from the 11 hole. But I do think it's one that could also, if you hook them up with the 9 horse in an exacta of some sort, and trifectas, all the exactas, all the exotics, I think this could pay well in terms of feeling good about walking on the track with a nice payoff here in the final race, even though it's a 3-1 and a 4-1 morning line choice.
You got plenty of time to watch the replays. I would encourage you to watch the replay of October 15th, the 10th race at San Anita. That's a race Dolly May exits 2 back. You can see in her running line, she finished 3rd that particular day. There was some trouble for a lot of the runners. There's a number of runners, as I mentioned, in race number 9 today that exit that common race. Also, it turned out to be a very productive race. There were 4 next out winners out of that particular heat back on October 15th. So certainly it could bode well for some of the runners exiting that field. Jeff, it's always great to see you with a smiling face here at the Great Race Place. I know you're going to have a great time, rain or shine. Now, as I mentioned, no live racing tomorrow. San Anita will be open for simulcasting. The live racing resumes on Sunday with a first post of 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. I know you won't be cheated out of a minute, and hopefully you pick some winners and provided them to the people that are watching.
Absolutely, and this is a great show, and hopefully people are at home are enjoy to be able to watch the races today from Santa Anita. And you should come out here and join us all whenever you can, because it's absolutely fantastic.
And we've got the best in the business describing the action. That would be track announcer Frank Miramati. He's going to join us in a minute or two, updating us with any late program changes. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good luck, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place. Here are the changes. Track is fast, turf is good, rail on the turf at 20 feet. The first has a super high 5 carryover, 21,000 plus. Just the blinker note. In the second race, we kick off the early pick 4 with no changes. Third will be run at 5.5 furlongs on turf, scratch number 11, 2 Bossy. In the fourth, the Rainbow Pick 6 begins, 34,000 in the carryover. Just a blinker note. Fifth race, 5.5 furlongs on the turf will be the distance, scratch 7, Commander Kai.